Warning. The subject matter in this review is not suitable for those under the age of 18. If you are squeamish or easily disturbed, do not proceed with this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
You have been warned.
Oh boy, let's talk about insuring your place in hell, shall we? Not gonna lie though, I am pretty damn excited to be doing Shockumentary reviews again. I got definitely a decent amount since my last one years ago on Faces of Gore. If any of you have any tips or films that you want me to review, please drop a comment down below or shoot me an email. Would love to see what films you want me to cover. But back to insuring your place in hell. This is one of those shock films that spread across the internet in about 2017. The information on who created Insuring Your Place in Hell is unknown. The DVD began circulating around the internet and people started talking about it on Reddit. Some people started talking about it on YouTube. In fact, the Horror Stash is the one that introduced me to Insuring Your Place in Hell. If you look hard enough, you can find copies sometimes on eBay. And of course, Putrid Productions has copies of Insuring Your Place in Hell for sale. Very few people on YouTube have covered Insuring Your Place in Hell again. The Horror Stash talked about it, that's where I heard about it. And Scare Theater did a really interesting analysis and debunking the footage from Insuring Your Place in Hell. But here it is. This DVD, again, it's not official. Every version of it is a bootleg. There's no company nor no creator that has ever identified themselves as being the creator of Insuring Your Place in Hell. This is different from a lot of shockumentaries that I've seen because instead of it being a compilation on several different clips, Insuring Your Place in Hell focuses more on 4 segments. The contents included are Mortuary of the Dead, Cooking with Huck Botko, Grave Robbing for Dummies, and Exploding Varmints. Mortuary of the Dead is basically found footage of 2 people breaking in to a mortuary after hours, and it pretty much just shows them walking around, seeing everything. You could see either miscarriages or aborted babies in jars. There's limbs and severed heads in barrels. There's some bodies lying on the tables. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can only assume it takes place somewhere in South America because the writing on the walls is in Spanish. But again, very little is known on this segment. Now, a lot of people question whether the footage in a lot of these films, especially Insuring Your Place in Hell, is real or not. I can say from experience from being in a mortuary, from being inside of a morgue, that the footage is pretty authentic. Watching Mortuary of the Dead, I can almost smell the formaldehyde. It is just one of those things that you never forget. But it goes on for about 15 minutes. They're kind of just dicking around. And at first I thought they were employees working after hours and just dicking around. But a lot of people are saying that it's just 2 kids that broke in and just wanted to have some fun. The second film, Cooking with Huck Botko, is probably my favorite of Insuring Your Place in Hell. This one is broken up into a couple different segments, the first one being called Fruitcake. And basically, the moral behind all of the films in the Cooking with Huck Botko segment is, it's about a guy, Huck Botko, who really hates his family. So much so that he pretty much just wants to kill them. And in this segment, Fruitcake, he decides to bake his father a fruitcake for Christmas, which sounds fine, but the special ingredient inside of the fruitcake is spit from random people on the street. He pays people $3 each to spit in the fruitcake mix. And not only does his father eat the fruitcake, but his entire family eats the fruitcake. The second one, Baked Alaska, he bakes his mother, who has apparently left his family, a Baked Alaska, and for this ingredient, he uses pieces of roadkill animals. And of course, she enjoys it. The third one, which is a graham cracker cream pie, I believe, is him making a graham cracker cream pie, and for the icing, he uses blood from 2 people with hepatitis. He even asked his psychiatrist what he thinks about it, and instead of turning him over to the authorities, he just says, well, if I were you, I would not recommend it. Worst psychiatrist ever. And then the last one, which is cheesecake, I believe. He makes his sister a cheesecake, and for the special ingredient, he uses semen from porn stars. And even his sister says that the cheesecake is a little on the salty side. Just thinking of that makes me want to throw up. And again, the people that receive the presents aren't the only ones that eat them. His entire family eats them. This is obviously fake, and Scare Theater has done his analysis on this. But if this were real, then we wouldn't see films such as The Last Exorcism, because the person who made this, Huck Botko, is an actual director, directing films like, again, The Last Exorcism and several other horror films. Not much is known on the films, and in fact I would love to hear more about what this really was. The last segment of this doesn't include any cooking or anything like that. This segment, titled Julie, is about a guy who is basically dating this girl who is cheating on him, and he wants his friend who has an STD to pass it along to Julie. To get inside Julie's pants, he decides to help her make this documentary on scamming companies for free stuff in order to one day possibly sleep with her. But it doesn't happen, so he resorts to peeing in her shampoo bottle, sticking her toothbrush up his ass, putting pubes on her soap, and even putting his semen in her cat's food. And then there's grave robbing for morons, which is basically almost like a interview with a guy who has robbed a grave and is showing off the skull and how to clean it. And one thing, he has this really weird stutter. I don't remember if Scare Theater said it was authentic or not, but I do know this scene in particular has been circulating around the internet for many years. He just goes on to talk about how to rob a grave, what parts to take, how to take off the clothes, etc. And then the last segment, Exploding Varmints, was produced by a company called Advanced Action Videos. The company still exists today under Advanced Labs, and if you call their number, you could actually purchase a copy of Exploding Varmints Part 1. It's essentially a amateur hunting video of people in Northern California going to different ranches and shooting prairie dogs, squirrels, and rabbits. I guarantee you that Advanced Action Videos probably tried to sell this to Bass Pro Shops and it never happened. Is it disgusting? Yeah. Is it disturbing? Sure. Some of it is fake. Again, the cooking with Huck Botko, that's fake. But Mortuary of the Dead, you know, I've been in a morgue, I've seen dead bodies, I've seen body parts. It's one thing for me, but for other people, yeah, it can be seen as disturbing. Overall, my favorite segment of this has got to be Cooking with Huck Botko because of how morbid and hilarious it is. Again, when it comes to shockumentaries, I am not going to rate it. Is it a cult favorite like Traces of Death and Faces of Gore? Definitely not. Is it clickbait worthy, kind of like MD Pope? Definitely not. But it definitely holds a place in many shockumentary collectors' hearts as being just a bizarre and obscure film. So that's where I'd pretty much end my review, but there is a sequel. Ensuring Your Place in Hell Part 2 is actually created by Jonathan Doe of Putrid Productions and Cinema's Underbelly on YouTube. Much like the first film, there are 4 segments on this DVD. The first segment, An Exorcism in Turkey, is about what looks like Muslim priest performing an exorcism on a woman in Turkey. Is it real? It looks pretty authentic, and it is disturbing in some way because you could see this priest, or whatever you call him, slapping this woman and burning her with hot embers from matches. There are no subtitles in this segment, so I really don't know what this guy is saying. I don't know what this possessed woman is saying, and really don't know if this guy was able to get the devil out of her or not. But you can see her talking in a demonic voice, and even some scenes you could see her trying to bite this guy. And it's probably just from the camera that they use, but in some shots you could see her eyes glowing red. The second segment, 4 on the Floor, is pretty much an old crime scene tape of police going into a house of a quadruple homicide. You see blood on the walls, you see the victims, and each one of them are shot, and one woman's head is nearly completely blown off. Definitely a nod to classic shockumentaries like Traces of Death. The third installment, and probably the most bizarre experiments in the revival of organisms, is kind of a Russian documentary on scientists experimenting on dead animals and dead animal organs, essentially trying to keep them alive. They keep a heart beating, lungs breathing, and even a dead dog's decapitated head animated. It's bizarre. I really don't know if it's real, but watching old footage like that, you can only imagine what was going on through these scientists' heads. The fourth and final installment, and probably my favorite, High Impact Hand Safety, is one of those safety videos from the 90s about how to keep your hands safe in the workplace. It was a real safety video, obviously fake though, but the gore and the special effects that this company used, holy shit. The segment was made by a company called Aurora Pictures, and really not much else is known about it. But whoever was involved in the special effects for High Impact Hand Safety definitely deserves an award and should definitely be helping people like Brian Paulin make a horror film. So comparing these two films, Ensuring Your Place in Hell Part 1 has definitely more of a cult status, but Ensuring Your Place in Hell Part 2 is definitely much more of a disturbing film. If you're a shockumentary fan, I recommend definitely checking both out. You can buy both parts 1 and 2 from putridproductions.bigcartel.com. Link will be in the description as always. And also shout out to Jonathan Doe of Cinema's Underbelly for hooking me up with this DVD. Thanks a lot, brother. So that's gonna do it for Ensuring Your Place in Hell. Thank you so much for coming by and checking out this video. If you're new to my channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for all my latest videos posted every Monday and Friday. And if you have an idea or a request for a shockumentary film you want to see me cover, definitely leave a comment down below or hit me up via email. And also follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, to stay posted on what I'm doing behind the scenes of making these videos. Before you click off this video, don't forget to hit it with a thumbs up, and leave me a comment down below saying if you've seen Ensuring Your Place in Hell Parts 1 and or 2, and what are your thoughts on them. Until next time, take care, and stay scared.